guys. You're a little younger. You know, these old guys like Bob Weir, who was on last week.
Well, touring's okay.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Do you like, would you prefer, that's on this one, be in the studio or out in front of live audiences?
They're so different that, I don't think I could personally do without either.
You could?
I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't? I was going to say, then be a bus driver. I'm sorry, I misheard you. We had last week Weir and John Entwistle and Tom Johnston, all of whom are veteran rockers. They all love the live audiences and don't like the studio as much. Does that interest you? I just thought it might.
Well, as Geddy said, they're two totally different worlds.
Right, you like both as well?
Very much,
well,
yeah.
Because, you're still, drunk on that success, if I may put it that way, and that's beautiful. That's a large venue. Do you ever miss anything smaller than Madison Square Garden, where you can see people's faces? Or...
Well, for us right now, it's very exciting to be playing the bigger halls. So, it's still pretty new to us to be doing a lot of big places. So it's very exciting. And we're still learning how to grasp with the big venue as opposed to the smaller one, too. Tuning the sound to a big room and doing a big production to those size halls.
We'll be right back after this word. Hey, we're back, and got a cheap laugh with a funny face. Sorry you missed it. Maybe. My next guest is definitely... Was this a kind of pickup thing? Were you a part-time musician at the time when you were driving a cow truck?
Yeah. I'm still a part-time musician.
Lifeson, did you ever drive a cow truck? I was just testing Alex to see if he was...
What was the question?
No, that's not fair. You ever went with a teacher? Where's Thomas Jefferson? When you were falling asleep and there was a web of mucus in your mouth. Because you were already at the REM stage. You sank over, You ever get a real boring afternoon when you went into snooze land and got embarrassed? And you try to yell out in a hurry, Thomas Jefferson! The question was about art. Anyway. Were you a good student?
Student? No, I never went to school.
No, come on.
I stopped going to school when I was 13.
Big difference between exterior decorator and interior decorator. You do enjoy making money from it too, don't you?
Oh yeah, of course. Everybody enjoys making money.
Can I have yours?
Yeah, I'll send it.
It doesn't matter to you. Maybe we'll even send it to a charity.
$20.
No. You care about that somewhat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Money means
obviously.
Comforts. Huh? You like money?
Buy drugs with it.
That's great.
Do you? Of course, you always, you need aspirin, you need hydrogen peroxide, you need Band-Aid. Shut up. You're kidding, they're grabbing books out of the public libraries in America now. Catcher in the Rye is too immoral. Believe this, what's happening here? Hey, you guys gotta stop that. You have influence. Robert Klein radio show, in case you're out on the turnpike somewhere there. Bram Tchaikovsky is on my left. Geddy Lee is on his left. Alex Lifeson to my right. Alexander Haig to his right. Mr. Haig, how are you? I'm in charge. Thanks, Mr. Haig. And I've also got a new single. Good, Alexander. We'll talk about it later. We're having the Carpenters on. You can be on with them. But I want to tell you... It's all right, Alexander. Relax here. Give him a trank. Put him downstairs. Call the president. This guy is off his nut. And thanks for behaving so well during a crisis. Okay? Sorry. Hey, heavy politics. Hey, heavy. What do you think of the violent sorts? You see an attack on the president and the Pope. You both Lifeson and Geddy Lee, Alex, and also Bram, you live in societies in which guns are very hard to come by, in which they're not as much of a way of life. Do you have any kind of perspective on this? Does it look crazy?
Well, I think you can safely speak for everybody. I think everybody with any brain would see gun control in America. I think.
Yeah. This is the man who wants chaos, gun control. No, I couldn't agree with him. Do you fellows agree? Gun control meaning, hey, what we're asking for is your name, where you live, that you're not a felon, that you're not nuts. You can buy it in so many places. In New York, we have such strict gun control laws. But what can you do when they come up from North Carolina? And we're not taking everyone's gun away. A lot of people, Ted Nugent here now, he'd beat us up.
Ted uses a bow and arrow, doesn't he?
Well, he uses a knife, pistol, and he has himself drop into the wilderness. And I've been saying for weeks now, I think about it, with no food, he has himself drop one. I think he brings a Hershey bar with him, I'm pretty sure. Just in case he has a couple of Milky Ways.
It's so difficult to do stuff like that, though, without limiting people's freedoms. That's the problem.
Well, is it? Yeah. It doesn't limit your freedom in Britain.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
How about you can't smoke pot? How come you can't get a pill without a script? How come all kinds of ways, marriage, birth, that the society interferes with and involves all. We have a social compact with other individuals. It's not a moral argument to me that there should be no controls. There's something in the United States Constitution that says the right to bear arms. And crime is an ugly scene, and people ultimately, good people, don't want to give up their weapon. They're afraid. And so they say it's the first step to taking them away. You know something? They're probably right. Except for rifles. But that would change the situation so drastically. Stop making pistols. Get rid of them. Make them for the army, police. Don't make them anymore, because all the ones that they take off of people when they arrest them could arm the entire Hungarian army. They throw them into the ocean. It's such a wasteful system.
I don't even know if you need the police armed.
Well, we do for the moment.
For the moment,
here.
certainly, yeah. But
in Britain, they still don't. Britain, they still don't. I think that's a marvelous arrangement. But we are a different heritage. We are a heritage of
violence.
Yes, the violence of conquering. Hey, Britain, get easy there.
Sorry,
the Empire. British fought a few things too, but the truth is, yes, pioneer spirit.
In Ontario, they still have a censor board for films.
Is it so? Well, you can still show it, but they rate them, but they can't prevent them from being shown. They can prevent them from being shown?
Yeah. Films such as The Tin Drum, that won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film last year, they would not let it be shown unless some cuts were made.
You know, it's the same in England.
Yeah, the director refused to make the cuts, so they refused to show the film. Eventually, they worked out some sort of compromise, but it's...
Yeah, you know, in Russia, you can't show anything.
Yeah.
This is true.
I know, it's wrong. I absolutely agree. Geldof couldn't even perform in his hometown of Dublin, you know.
It's like the 1980s here in Britain and Ontario, two places that still have a antiquated thing like the censor board.
Yes, I think it's grossly unfair. But, I mean, there are still large numbers of people in the world, basically in China, Soviet Union. Abstract art, a curve of a woman's body is already too frightening for people to be allowed to see. Just don't forget that, you know. I think we value... we take them too lightly. I mean, who was it went to Russia and did a concert?
Sex Pistols couldn't play in America.
No.
Yeah, they were banned.
Really?
From various
how?
places.
There had to be some sort of, legal court. Yeah, great. I'll take your suggestion and see the Plasmatics. And maybe we can get them on a double bill.
Yeah, Carpentermatics. Good bill.
Well, I don't know that anybody can just be banned on the basis of anything, too. I mean, you know, I was in Holland. These kids were annoying with purple hair. People with purple hair, please, I don't mean to offend you. But, you know, they pushed around. Look, anybody can be what they want. The point is, you have to contribute something to the environment that allows you to be what you want, basically what you want. That doesn't mean we should ever decrease our vigilance about our own freedoms. Nobody's busting into my house. Look what's happening here. You know, you can do this and that, and slowly it erodes, and you've got to fight it. But don't forget, in so much of the world, it's controlled. A curve on a line of paper is not allowed. You know, Rush wouldn't get within 20 miles of Russia under normal circumstances. Bram would be let in as an example of decadence in the West End. They'd want to use him as an example of how the English have brought up their children poorly. Who was it that went to Russia, though, and had... Elton John?
Been,
Yeah, and they wanted to...
Cliff Richard's been?
Yeah,
Lots of people.
it bugs you too, right? Because you'd like them to see some other stuff, right?
Who?
You?
Me? Yeah.
Well, do you have any qualms about the fact that there may be a lot of Soviet kids think that's what all rock and roll is?
No, I think a lot of Soviet kids probably can get a lot of rock and roll records.
Do you have any information that your records are getting into the Soviet Union?
No, I don't have any information.
Do you know who the people are?
I'm sorry, sir.
I didn't mean to... I'm so sorry, really. I guess I'm out of line. Interesting, though, isn't it?
It is.
That your creative works are stopped at the border in a lot of societies, right?
Yeah.
Libya, Bram wouldn't get past immigration. Geddy, you'd be thrown into a cell immediately.
Of course.
Lifeson would be allowed in. They'd think he's Norwegian.
Tennis?
Because, Bram, you've been here. You're a vet here, man. You've been to the States a lot, right?
4th time.
Who were you here first with, the Motors?
Yeah, Motors.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a crazy tour. Didn't we tour with you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did. In fact, didn't we get bottles thrown at us at the Cobo Hall? If I remember correctly.
Good old Bram
We did the
Tchaikovsky.
Cobo Hall.
Measures the success of a date by what was thrown. He's in the spirit of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the time they shot a howitzer at it. What a time in Kansas. I'll tell you something. You are a cheerful sort. Listen, fellas, we have the ambulance waiting downstairs for both of you. Geddy, Alex, we appreciate you coming. I know you had a great show. You put out, you work hard. You work very hard. We were talking about that, Bram and I, before you both arrived. And I admire that. And I wish you continued success. And I'm glad you came by.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
And Bram, thank you. The new album for Bram Tchaikovsky is Funland. And the new album for Rush, Moving Pictures. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Good night.